Merry Christmas, everybody! Today, I'm going to be sharing some Christmas stories from my past, and I'm also going to be sharing some more information on what it's going to take to become a successful entrepreneur in 2021. And we're going to do that all live. So stick around, that's coming right. Live from Northern California, welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell so that way you won't miss a single thing when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. That's right. I am here to help as many people as possible get the best possible grip on their life between their personal lives and their business life, because they both coincide and go hand in hand. So that way you can accomplish whatever it is that your heart desires. Now, subscribe and bang the bell if you're on YouTube. But once again, tonight we are simulcasting also on Facebook. So if you are on Facebook and you want to connect with me on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, go below in the description section of the live stream and you will see a link to my channel there, youtube.com/C/A grip on life, and then subscribe, bang the bell, select all notifications, and then you can connect with me on YouTube as well. But before we get further here, I want to make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. The notification on YouTube has gone out. And it looks like everything is rolling smoothly on Facebook. And let me check out the YouTube back end and see if things are rolling well. I'm a one-man show for now, folks. I am my own producer, editor. I write my own scripts. Well, I don't even really typically write scripts. I'm one of those guys that goes on the fly. I mean, sure, I have a plan regarding what I'm going to talk about when I go live or do a pre-recorded video. But for the most part, I'm an on-the-fly type of guy because, folks, life is on the fly. You never know what's going to happen at any given moment during any given day. And you have to just be ready for everything. And that's the way I like to, run my YouTube channel and put out my pre-recorded videos. I love doing things raw and on the fly because I like to keep things as real as possible. Okay, let me just check out the Facebook side of things and see what's happening over there. Okay. It's all good. People are enjoying Christmas Day with their families, so I'm not sure if we're going to get the biggest turnout here tonight or that much engagement, but that's okay. If you missed the live, you can catch the replay, and that'll work just as well. So, first and foremost, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed this very special day with your family and your friends and your loved ones, and I hope that you folks all got what you wanted. Sometimes we don't get everything that we want or everything we expect, but hopefully, you've had a great Christmas and you've spent some time with your family and your friends, and you've taken this holiday season to connect and reconnect with, the great people that mean the most to you. And also you're doing it safe, because we are in a pandemic. Hopefully you're wearing your masks where necessary and you're socially distancing as well. For me, I got back a few hours ago from spending some time with my family, and now I'm back at my place, and I figured that I might as well do a Christmas stream. I typically will do one every year. I'll typically do it more so during the morning before the festivities with my family, but things kind of shifted around this year, so I decided to do it afterwards. And tonight I'm going to start things off by sharing a story regarding, some of my past Christmases and what they've meant to me. What did Christmas mean to me when I was younger? And what does it mean to me now that I'm 47 years old? But it wouldn't be a Christmas show unless I played some Christmas music in the background. And folks, especially those of you out there on Facebook, if you're not aware, copyright's pretty big on YouTube, and it's become pretty big on Facebook as well, but more so YouTube's a bit more strict with it. And so the Christmas music I'm going to be playing in the background is from the YouTube audio library. It is copyright free, safe to use, and won't get your videos demonetized if you're a monetized channel like myself. So you'll probably recognize these songs, but these are from special artists that have contributed their music for use in the YouTube audio library. So let's just get right to it and play some jolly old Saint Nick. And get right to it here. All right. So in my younger days, Christmas meant the world to me. I would look forward to Christmas because just like any young kid, you wanted to get new gifts. You wanted to get either a new dirt bike or the latest video game console or the latest video game. Folks, we're looking back, goodness gracious, 35 or so years ago. And back in those days, my parents were still trying to get my brother and I to believe that Santa Claus existed. But I've always been a very intuitive, smart guy. Like, I'm not easy to fool. And that's why some people are intimidated by me, because they can't pull a fast one on me. I'm too intuitive for a guy. Like I mentioned in some past videos, when I talk about male and female relationship dynamics, women are naturally more intuitive. They're more biologically intuitive because back in the days of traditionalism, women needed to use that intuition to seek out the strongest man to reproduce with, and also a man that was going to be able to provide and take care of her, because back in those days, women didn't have the same rights they have today, and they weren't working, and they were completely dependent on a man for survival. So women have always been more naturally, biologically intuitive, but men, not as much so. I'm not saying that men aren't intuitive or can't be, but most men are not as intuitive or intuitive at all compared to women. For me, I'm super intuitive. I like to say I have the male version of women's intuition. One more time, I have the male version of women's intuition. And it doesn't make me any less of a man. It actually makes me a smarter man. And the right women, when they come around, they like the fact that I'm that intuitive. But the women that are intimidated by me, they're intimidated by me because they like to use their intuition to get what they want and to play games and to kind of manipulate a man into turning him into what they want. And when they realize they can't pull that on me because I'm as intuitive as they are or more intuitive, then they're like, you're a good guy and you're an attractive guy and you got your stuff together. But I'm more so looking for a softer spoken, quieter type of guy, more easygoing, laid back type of guy. Oh, I'm very easygoing. I'm a fun dude. You don't want to be with me because you're picking up that I'm as intuitive as you are or more intuitive than you are, and you're not going to be able to run your game on me. So that's come in pretty handy. But back in my younger days, it came in handy when my parents were still trying to convince me that Santa Claus still existed, which, come on. The story of jolly, Saint Nick, it was a true biblical story, but we all know that Santa Claus, back in those days, now at least we know, as we've gotten older, is mom and dad, right? So I remember back in those days, that's when video game consoles started getting popular. Initially, before video game consoles, became popular in the home where you could play video games on your home TV, you had to go to an arcade and spend, a quarter per game. Some games were 50 cents. Some were maybe even $1. You had to, remember we would put in quarters into arcade games, right? Because that's the only place we could go play these games. But when they started creating video game consoles from, or for the home, and the Atari came out, I don't know how many of you remember Atari. Great company. Atari was actually started here in the Bay Area in Sunnyvale, California, which is about 20 minutes south from where I live here in Redwood City, California. And I wanted an Atari. And all my friends were getting Atari, right? But I wanted an Atari, and Atari had been out for about 6 months already. And it was the Atari 2600, the first game console. Then I believe they came out with the 5200, which was better. But I wanted the Atari 2600, and so did my brother. My brother Chris wanted it too, right? And we kept on begging my dad, everyone's getting Atari. Son, you have to wait and earn your gifts, son. There'll be a time and a place for that, right? And so the story goes like this. My father used to work in the car business back then. He was one of the top car salesperson, not only in the Bay Area, but in the country. My father did very well. And when he was selling cars in the South Bay Area here in Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area, but in the South Bay Area, that's where all the high-tech boom was starting to happen. So as these companies started to grow in, the South Bay, Silicon Valley area where I live, my father did the most advertising as a car salesperson, and he became known as one of the most trustworthy, salesmen, salesmen in the area. So where would all these high-tech geeks and executives and startup companies go to buy their car? They would go to buy their cars from my father. And what ended up happening? My dad would negotiate some deals with them. And in this case, my dad met a few of the main people from the Atari company in Sunnyvale, California. And when it came time to Christmas, my dad ended up, buying my brother and I an Atari. But when I opened the package, this is the funny part. When I opened the package, my brother and I ripped open the package, we realized that there was a big sticker on it that said refurbished. And we're like, what's refurbished? Well, my dad was saying it's when something, had some issues, it was returned and the company fixed it and it's like brand new, but it costs less. I'm like, this is not a brand new Atari. Like, I was whining and complaining like a little you-know-what. I'm not going to say it. I was whining and complaining. Hey, Furious Reactor Gaming, welcome to the show, bro. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Share some of your Christmas stories in the chat, bro. And how's your day been? Did you spend some time with your family? What's been going on in your neck of the woods? We still have nobody commenting on Facebook. Folks, don't be afraid to comment on Facebook. Let me make sure that the stream is running on Facebook on my phone. It should be. It's just maybe people are busy. Let me see here. Well, it says that I'm live on Facebook, but I'm not seeing the stream over there. Let me see. Give me a second.
What's been going
on?
Oh,
we're live. We're live. Okay, it's going through. All right. So I was complaining that my Atari 2600 was refurbished, right? And the reason why my dad got a refurbished, model is because they gave him a better deal on it, and they even gave him a little bit of a better deal than the general public that would get an Atari refurbished, because my dad knew the executives there. So after that, I was I was whining and complaining because the Atari, I think it came with like 3 games, but it didn't come with my favorite game. The most popular game back then was Pac-Man. How many of you remember Pac-Man, right? There was a Pac-Man game in the arcade, and then they made Pac-Man for Atari. The interesting thing was the arcade version was way better than the 2600, the Atari 2600 version. The 2600 version was kind of crappy. They then fixed that in the Atari 5200. But I still wanted Pac-Man, right? And we had opened up all our gifts, and we were spending time with the family, and I was just down. And my dad looks at me and says, "Son, what's wrong? What's wrong, son? You don't seem happy. You got a lot of gifts here. You got the Atari, you got clothes, you got shoes, you got all this and that." My dad knew exactly why I was down. My dad was messing with me. My dad was one of the most intuitive men on the planet. I think that's where I got it from. And what ended up happening? "Son, is there something that would make you more happy? I don't like seeing you sad, son." My dad kept on, he knew I wanted that Pac-Man game. And my brother wanted it too, but more so me. And my dad kept dragging it on because he knew he was messing with me, and he knew he wanted me to get so excited, right? Well, what ended up happening was my dad left the room, came back 5 minutes later, and said, "Son, are you looking for this? Are you looking at Pac-Man? Pac-Man!" I grab Pac-Man. I start running around the house. I run outside. I'm screaming at the neighbors, at the cars driving by. "I got Pac-Man! I got Pac-Man!" I'd never been so excited over anything in my life. I'm a little kid. I forgot how old I was. I think I was like 7 or 8. I can't remember. I was under 10 years old. I was just so ecstatic over Pac-Man. Let me read the chat here real quick. Furious Reactor, "I didn't get to spend time with them today due to me working all day, but we will be together tomorrow." Sounds good, bro. Sounds good, bro. Are you planning on going live on YouTube anytime soon? Furious Reactor Gaming? Let us know, and I would love to join you on a panel. I don't know if you're planning on going live maybe later tonight, or if anyone else is planning on going live. I would love to join anyone live on a panel if they're going to create one tonight. If not, maybe we can get something going, in the next few days or early on in the new year. But thank you for being here, bro, and Merry Christmas to you and your family and all of your friends and loved ones. Okay, so I got Pac-Man, right? And I'm thinking to myself, this is the best Christmas ever. This is the most meaningful Christmas ever. I start playing Pac-Man and I'm addicted to it, right? I'm playing Pac-Man, and after like half an hour of playing it, I figured out a pattern to the point of where I could never die. The ghost could never get me, and I would do the same pattern over and over and over again, and I would clear the screen, and it would be the same screen over and over and over again, same pattern over and over again, right? So I was sitting there playing Pac-Man for like 2 hours. And back in those days, on the first version of Pac-Man for the Atari 2600, when it showed your score at the top, it only had 5 digits. So the highest score you could get is 99,999 points, right? And then once you hit 100,000, it resets back to 0. So I kept playing this game, and I'm like, I can't die. I'm at like 99,500. And then I'm like, okay, is it going to go to 100,000? When I cleared the next screen and got to 100,000, it reset to 0. And I'm like, this sucks. And my dad was saying, watch your mouth, son. Like back then, if you even said this sucks, like that was like a bad thing. Like back in the 80s, you couldn't say anything. Like even like minor, profanity to express yourself. Nowadays, you got the F word, you got every word known to mankind. You hear it on TV, you hear it on YouTube, Facebook. It's just become a part of a normal thing. But I'm like, this sucks, It's like, what sucks, son? Don't use that word. I said, this game that at 99,999 resets to 0, and like it's too easy. I can't die, well, just turn it off, son, and enjoy Christmas with us. So from one minute, I was ecstatic and excited that I finally got Pac-Man. Then I got it. I played it for one day. And I got bored of it because I couldn't lose. I have to say, in all honesty, looking back, that was the most pathetic excuse of a game that Atari created. Like, they could have done a much better job at it. Now, they fixed it for the Atari 5200, which my brother and I later got. But that was my first experience with a game console. And that was probably one of the best and most memorable Christmases I had. I won't be streaming this weekend, says Furious Reactor Gaming. Okay, no worries, bro. Keep us in the loop behind the scenes. Lewis Fuller, good evening, host. Merry Christmas to you and your family. If you're on Facebook, you can see the live stream chat from my YouTube channel on your screen. If you're on YouTube and you want to see what's going on Facebook, you're going to have to go over to my Facebook, Elias Dimitri Melas, and watch the stream there. The stream there, which is what I'm trying to say. Lewis Fuller says, I'm watching your ads in full. Well, thank you, Lewis. Not a big deal, bro. Do you. I appreciate people watching the ads, and, it's a monetized channel. And that's part of how I make some of my money running my business. But are we out of music? Oh, we're already out of music. That's fine. We don't need any music. We don't need any stinking music. But yeah, like I said, that was one of the most memorable Christmases that Lewis Fuller says you're welcome. That was one of the most memorable Christmases that I had. So, what does Christmas mean to me today at age 47 compared to age 7 or 8 or back in, my younger days? It really does mean something to me. I do value it. I do appreciate it. But I'll be honest, I'm a single man. And I know there are a lot of single men and women out there this holiday season and pretty much every holiday season. And I know because of the way the modern world is with dating nowadays, there are more single people now than ever before. And there are a lot of people that, even though they have family and they spend some time with their family, there's nothing more meaningful than spending Christmas, in my opinion, with someone that you're in a loving, caring relationship with, or you're married to, and you have a family with. I think the meaning of Christmas to me is bringing family together and, sharing that important time with your family on a special day. And when you don't have that, I'm not saying it's not meaningful at all. I still believe in Christmas, and I love spending time with my friends and family. But it's just not the same thing. And so I will mention another thing back from my younger days, if I can remember what it was. Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention that I think it was the following Christmas after the Atari 2600 Christmas. My parents were still trying to get me to believe that Santa Claus existed, right? Hey, Firewolf Studios, welcome to the show on the YouTube side of things. Merry Christmas to you and your family and your friends. Happy holidays to all of you. Thank you for stopping by, bro. Firewolf Studios, if you're around later tonight and you want to do a brief panel stream, I'd love to get on a panel with you. And also, folks, stick around. I'm only going to be on probably for another half an hour or 45 minutes. Probably going to take a break here in a few minutes to refill my coffee. When I come back, I'm going to be sharing a few more tips and reasons why I feel entrepreneurs are failing to run a successful and profitable business. That also includes YouTubers that want to make this their career. So if you're an entrepreneur on YouTube, if you're a YouTuber and you're either a monetized channel or you want to get monetized and you want to turn your creations, your videos and your channel into a business, or if you're on the Facebook side and you're running your own business, whether you're doing that marketing, whether you're self-employed in any other way, shape, or form, or if you are unhappy working for somebody else or working a day job or working for the corporate world and you want to transition into becoming a self-employed entrepreneur, okay? I'm going to be talking about, why it's not happening for you when I get back from the break in a little bit, and what we can do with all of us working together in 2021 to overcome that and give everybody together the best possible chance of creating a great business. So I'm going to share more about that in just a little bit. Merry Christmas, Eli. Did you see what happened to Nashville, Tennessee? Yeah, I did. And I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know how YouTube I don't know how it's going to affect YouTube channels. Whenever something major happens, you have to wait and see how YouTube handles it, because they can remove those videos. They can give you community guideline strikes. They have a monetized channel. They can demonetize them. So I'm going to wait and see, what their stance is going to be on this. But yeah, I heard about, Nashville, and that's pretty sad, man. It's just pretty sad what some very weak-minded and insecure and unhappy people will do to get attention. Like, people do things like that just to get attention. It's almost the same thing like trolls out here on YouTube, Firewolf Studios. People will just do stuff like that because nothing else is working for them. They're very unhappy deep within, and they're miserable. And they just want to do something that's going to get them attention, right? It's just pathetic, in my opinion. It's just very, very pathetic. So, but anyway, so the following Christmas, my parents were still trying to get me to believe in Santa Claus. And I said, Mom, Dad, Santa Claus does not exist. Mom and Dad are Santa Claus. I was a little smartass. I'll be honest with you. I was a little smartass back in those days. Maybe I still kind of am, but I'm a lot more mature than I was back then. I mean, I was younger. I was like under 10 years old, right? And I remember I kept going back and forth with my parents. I'm like, Santa Claus does not exist. They're like, Santa Claus will show up on Christmas Day and deliver all the gifts to the Christmas tree, under the Christmas tree, right? But I wasn't satisfied with that. So you know what I did? You know what I did? It was a few days before Christmas, and I saw my mother's keys on the counter, the kitchen counter. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go and take my mom's keys and go to the trunk and see if Santa, who I felt was my mother and my father, delivered the gifts already in the trunk of my mother's car. Firewall Studios, I didn't want a conversation about it because of that too. Need to wait to see how YouTube reacts. Right, that's the thing with YouTube. Like when something major happens, you just got to wait and see what their stance is on it. And that's fine. Like, I don't need to always tackle trending topics and stuff like that. I have plenty to talk about here. And there's a lot more to talk about, on my YouTube channel, and also now simulcasting on Facebook, than trending topics. But I just, it's horrible what happened. I'll say that for right now. So my mother, my mother back in those days she had a boat. Well, that's what we used to call big cars back then, that were made with real Detroit steel, right? She had a 77 Chrysler Cordova. This thing was a tank. I swear, you could go into battle with this thing in Iran and Iraq. This thing would probably get, I'd say, probably 12 to 14 miles per gallon, if that, right? Maybe less than that, right? Had a lot of power. There was a V8. Had bucket leather seats. I mean, this thing was roomy, and this thing had a trunk that could probably fit 4 people in there. These cars had these big, huge trunks back then, right? And these big engines, right? Engines that were like 300 to 400, cubic centimeters, right? And so, hold on a second. So anyway, I grabbed the keys to my mother's car. I went to her trunk. I popped open the trunk and I said, Santa Claus is already here, right? I start yelling and screaming, right? The neighbors are looking at me. My mother comes out there and says, oh, come on, son, close the trunk. Close. Oh, look at this. We got this. We got that. We got, right? I swear, when I look back at that, I'm like, I was the Grinch that stole Christmas. That was pretty horrible, right? The thing is, I really wanted to prove that Santa Claus didn't exist. Or maybe Santa Claus does exist in the biblical sense, but Santa did not, come to, the family household and deliver the gifts every Christmas. They were purchased by my mother and father, and they were stuffed in the trunk until my mother and father could wrap them, right? And then put them on under the tree either on Christmas Day or a few days before, right? So those were some Christmas memories for me back in those days. Firewolf Studio says, I was a smartass too back then when I was a minor. I was a hellion back then. Yeah, and I told my mom and dad at the time that Santa was a phony. LOL. Yeah, you're one of those intuitive guys like me, Chris, a.k.a. Firewolf Studios. For me, like, I've always been a realist. I've always been the type of person that doesn't like BS, even as a little kid. I think I got that from my father. Actually, I know I got that from my father. My father never put up with any BS. He was the nicest, most amazing, most giving man in the world. But if you try to pull a fast one on my father, oh man, that was the last dude you wanted to mess with back then. That was the last dude you wanted to mess with back then. My dad didn't put up with anything, and that's where I got it from. My dad was one of the most stubborn dudes on the planet, but he meant well, right? And the way he was stubborn was extremely funny. Like, even my friends, like the one-liners my dad used to say, were the funniest things in the world. Now, if I were to say those one-liners out here right now on my monetized YouTube channel, I'd at least get demonetized, maybe get my video taken down. But let me just tell you, my dad was serious when he would say these one-liners, but my friends would laugh at it. And back in those days, I didn't laugh at it because I was embarrassed, right? But now I look back, my father's in a better place. He passed away almost 12 years ago. Now I look back and I'm like, my dad not only was hilarious, he was right about everything. The guy was right about everything. And I'm so grateful, that, he was my father. And I'm still grateful that my mother, to this day, she's 70 years old as well. But yeah, like, I've always been a realist, Chris, aka Firewolf Studios. Even as a little kid, like I couldn't be fooled. Like, most people can just kick back and just let things happen and be fooled. For me, I was always trying to figure out the truth about stuff. And to me, like, whenever I would get something electronic, like even when like little portable TVs came out, like back in my younger days, they're not as great as they are today. Now our smartphones are the portable TV, right? But back in those days, you had these little Sony Watchmen, and they were black and white, right? And then, Casio came out with a color version, and then Sony came out with a color version, right? But nothing like we have today. What would I do? Like, after a while, I would open up these devices because I was curious on how they work on the inside. I would play with the wires. I would take them apart, put them back together, and they would work. I would look at the battery, mechanism, and, I was more curious about how and why things worked rather than just enjoying the product. Don't get me wrong, I would enjoy products, but I was more about the mechanics. I was more about, this is so cool. How was this made, right? So that's the kind of person that I've always been. Let me look over at the Facebook side real quick. Where's everybody on Facebook tonight? Nobody wants to be on Facebook? Let me check one thing out here real quick before I step away and take a quick break. Let me see here. I mean, there's the event from yesterday. But for some reason, it is not showing the event on my timeline. I wonder if I can share it there. Give me a second here. Oh, man. That is weird. That is weird. Sorry, folks. Give me just 1 second here. Let me see. Give me 1 second here. And I'll have this prepared for the next time. Anyway, I'll just have that set for next time. It is live on Facebook, but for some reason, it's not showing today's live stream on my timeline, and I don't know why. I'll try to figure that out on the break. But folks, I'm going to step away and take a 5 to 7 or 8 minute break, and then when I get back, I'm going to discuss what it's going to take to be a successful entrepreneur in 2021. I know there are a lot of people in my Facebook network that, either have, run a business in the past, maybe still run a business, maybe stopped being an entrepreneur for a while, but now they want to get back into it. Maybe you've tried in the past and you've failed and you've given up. I want to share with you folks what it's going to take in 2021 to get your self-employed business off the ground and be successful at it. Because I know due to this pandemic, plus also most of networking has gone online despite, the pandemic. But again, the pandemic's making things worse because you can't even run events right now. Events were already slowing down before the pandemic, but now they're pretty much at a standstill. So now is the time to get your digital presence out there and get that business going that maybe you've tried to get off the ground in the past, but then you gave up. I'm going to share with you folks what can be done in 2021 and what I'm willing to do to help you folks and get things off the ground and do it in a way where it's not going to affect what you're already doing, because you have to have a balance. You still have to bring in some income from somewhere else until you replace your income of your self-employed business. So I'm going to share more on how, I plan on tackling that in 2021 and, what I'm looking for, in people to work with as a team in 2021 to make this happen for everyone that wants to come on board. So let me just cue up some music here. Let me see here. Just need one more. All right, folks, I'm going to step away for a 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. Like I said, when we return, we're going to be discussing what it's going to take to be a successful entrepreneur in 2021. So stick around. Well, wait a minute. All right, now we're to stick around. We'll be right back. Yeah! Merry Christmas, everybody! Merry Christmas to all! Yeah. Just soak it in for a minute. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. You ready to do it? Ready to do it? Who's ready? Who's ready to rock and roll in 2021? Who's ready to rock and roll? Who's ready to rock and roll? Dance with me. Yeah, feel it. Feel it. You gotta feel good. You gotta feel good. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to do anything at all. Get in that right mindset that you love yourself, you're happy with yourself, figure out your purpose and turn it into something amazing. And in 2021, I'm gonna help as many people as possible turn their purpose and their passion into something amazing. Who's with me? Who is with me? Yeah. Woo-wee. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I gotta settle down a bit, get back to the show. I'm just so fired up, folks. I am just a fired up person. I love life. No matter what comes my way, I love life. I learn to deal with it and I move forward and I keep on living. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You should love it too. Whoo. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube and also simulcasting live on Facebook as well. Glad you could all join me here tonight. It is Christmas Day, Friday, December 25th, 2020, 11:26 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:26 p.m. Pacific Time here in my neck of the woods. I'm in Northern California, the San Francisco Bay Area, San Mateo County, Redwood City to be exact. Climate best by government test, which is what our sign says downtown. It is true. It is true. Great weather here. I gotta say, it's interesting. You know, I don't talk a lot about my trolls and haters anymore, but this one guy that's been trolling me for a while did a quick video on me and basically said I was not man enough because, you know, I wouldn't be able to navigate in an environment where there was lots of snow and he was walking in snow. And that's just a clear projection of an insecurity of an unhappy man. And maybe he's not happy at the fact that I live in an area that doesn't snow and the weather is amazing for the most part. Listen, you know what? This is where my family raised me, and this is what I'm used to. I'm sure if I lived in a different environment, I would have gotten used to it. But see, folks, I don't let things like that get in the way or kick me down. I kind of laugh at those things. At the same time, I feel really bad and sorry for those people because they're just not happy deep within. And that's where everything starts off at, folks. In order to accomplish anything in life, you know, in order to accomplish anything in life, whether it's a relationship with a man or a woman, in order for a marriage to work, in order for a business to work, a self-employed business to work, you have to first start loving yourself, appreciating yourself, and being happy deep within yourself. If not, nothing else is going to pan out for you because that's what you're going to project. What you project out into the universe is what you're going to get back, right? So like attracts like. So if you want to attract good people in your life to have a happy and healthy relationship with, marriage with, or run a successful business, it all starts with your attitude and how you show up, right? You tell me, does that make sense? And to the people that it doesn't make sense to, and you must be in such a deep state of depression or hatred for yourself, you got to snap out of that. You got to snap out of that. Because here's the thing. Someone like myself can't help someone like that. I want to help you, but here's the problem. You're not open to the help. You've sunk so low into such a deep state of depression and hatred for yourself that until you get out of that and become a better person and you're open to getting the help to better yourself, no one, including myself, can help you. I wish those people the best. And sometimes, you know, those people, you feel bad for them, you want to help them, but if you try to help them, you're only going to get caught up in their misery and it's going to set you back. So unfortunately, you got to let those people go and move forward. And maybe one day they'll realize it and they'll come back and they'll say, Eli, I'm in a better place now. I'm sorry about the way I treated you. I'm sorry about the way I came off. I'm willing to, work with you and see what we can do together to create greatness. Okay, that's all good. It's all good. All right, so let me check out the chat real quick before I get to what I want to discuss here regarding what it's going to take to be a successful entrepreneur in 2021. Firewolf Studio says, I know that's what I said. I think you were referring to when I was saying that a lot of people just try and they give up and they've tried and tried and tried to make a business successful and it just doesn't get anywhere and they get frustrated, right? I think that's what you were referring to, right? Firewolf Studios on the YouTube side of things. I'll share more about my thoughts regarding all that in a second. Lewis Fuller says, I will share your stream out. Thank you, Lewis Fuller. I appreciate it. Say, tell your sister Merry Christmas for me as well. If she's around, wants to pop on in the chat to say hello, it'd be great to have her here. But I'm sure she's busy with family. I just shared your stream out on Messenger. Thank you, Lewis Fuller. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Okay, so I don't know what's going on the Facebook side of things. Maybe people are just busy, or maybe I got to figure out a better way to share it out. It's just really hard to get stuff out on Facebook, even live streams now. They've changed everything. Like I've got like almost 4,200 Facebook friends, real people that know me. So yeah, this is just not getting out, but that's okay. That's okay. At least it'll be there on the replay and we'll figure it out another time. See, folks, I don't let those things get me down. I may not have anybody on my stream live right now on Facebook, and only, 5 people here right now, 6 people here now on my YouTube stream. But that's okay. That's 6 more than 0. You got to start somewhere. So let's get right to this. Let's talk about the frustrations regarding people that have tried to start their own business. They've put a lot of time and effort into it. Maybe they spent a lot of money. They've gone to in-person networking events in the past, connected with people that figured would help them grow their business, and it didn't happen. They've done online marketing. They've tried YouTube to promote their business. They've tried Facebook to promote their business, LinkedIn, Twitter. They've done all of this, and none of it has worked. And why hasn't it worked, in my opinion? Well, because you gave up. It's the bottom line. You gave up. Folks, there's so much competition out there. There are so many people out there trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. So why should people tune into you? Why should people give you their time when they can give someone else their time doing the same thing that's doing it better than you are, right? You got to understand that. You have to stand out. And part of standing out is, being different, putting your own spin on things, and continuing to push forward, even though you might not have the biggest audience initially. Folks, all it takes is 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 really good connections, people to collaborate with, people that are going to be your biggest cheerleaders, and you're going to be their biggest cheerleaders, to get your information out to other people that they know that you don't know. And on the flip side, you can help them get, their information out to other people they don't know on your end. That's called networking. That's called collaborating. I've always been big on collaboration. Collaboration is not competition. Let me make that clear. Collaboration is not competition. Okay? Collaboration is joining forces. For example, my moderators here on my channel are collaborative partners. They run their own YouTube channel. They're running their YouTube channels as a business, just like I am, right? I don't charge them anything, and I don't expect anything from them besides our great friendship, our great friendship, and us working together, maybe doing live streams together or doing other videos together to help spread each other's messages out. What happens when you collaborate on YouTube, for example? Okay, when I go on a live stream on Firewolf Studios channel, or, Furious, Reactor Gaming's channel, or Lewis Fuller's channel, or anyone else's channel. I'm being exposed to a different audience that doesn't know about me, right? What happens when they come on my channel and do a live stream interview with me or do a collaboration video with me, right? They get exposure to my audience that, they wouldn't have received any other way, right? But even if you do that, is that going to blow you up right away? Is that going to get you the results right away? No. You might get one or two people to subscribe to your channel when you go on someone else's channel, and they might start following some of your videos, but you're not going to have a huge return right away. So how do you get that huge return? You have to build up to it. You have to keep moving forward through thick and thin. Right now, a lot of people are saying, Eli, you're putting in all this time and effort to run these streams between Facebook and YouTube, and you've only got 6 people watching you. I mean, how do you feel about that, Eli? Like, is this productive use of your time? It absolutely is. Because I know the more consistent I am, the more and more I come out each and every day, if not almost each and every day, and put out new content and do my best to connect with people and help people and get my message out there, the more consistent I am, over the course of time, more and more people are going to say, wow, this guy just keeps going, keeps moving forward. He's live almost every day. He's putting out new content almost every day. He really cares about people, and he really wants to truly help people be successful in 2021, regardless of what it is they're trying to accomplish. So the first thing, that it's going to take for you folks to be successful in 2021 is, number one, you got to figure out what your purpose is. That's the most important thing. You got to figure out what your purpose is, because that's what drives you. That's what defines you. Your purpose is going to carry you through the tough times of when you're not getting the results that you feel you should be getting. So that way you can keep pushing forward and eventually get the results by being consistent. Okay? That's the truth of the matter right there. My purpose is to help people get a better grip on their life based on my personal experiences regarding their business and personal needs. Okay? On the business side, I help people find their dream job in the corporate world. I also help people figure out the best ways to get promoted through the corporate world, and if they're getting passed up for promotion, why it's happening and what they need to do to turn it around so they get promoted the next time around. I also help people that don't want to work for somebody else or the corporate world anymore and transition into becoming a self-employed entrepreneur, which is not easy because you're used to making that money in the corporate world, right? And then when you start your business, you're not making enough money or maybe any money at all, so you can't quit your day job. So in essence, you have to work both jobs, right? You're working 8 hours a day at your main job. Then if you start a YouTube channel and start a business on YouTube, now you got to focus 4 to 6 to 8 other hours to get your self-employed business going until you get it to a level of where you replace most, if not all, of your income so you can quit your day job, right? But that takes time, right? So 8 hours at your day job that pays your bills, 8 hours to start your self-employed business. And then let's say you're dating someone or you're married. When are you going to find time to spend with them, right? You got to balance things out. But here's the most important thing if you want to be successful as an entrepreneur. If you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, regardless of your situation, whether you're married, whether you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, regardless of how many hours you're working at a day job, if you want to transition to become an entrepreneur and be successful, you first and foremost have to tell yourself that you really want this and you're going to do whatever it takes to get there. And anyone that's associated with you or anyone that's dating you or you're married to, you need to talk with them about this and say, hey, babe, how much do you support me? This is what I want to do. Do you support me? This is what I want to do. I want to transition to becoming self-employed. Here's what it's going to entail. What's going to happen initially, babe, is that it's going to probably cut a little bit of time away from us spending some time together. I'm still going to spend time with you, babe, but for the next 6, 12 months of me building this business, I just want you to know that I'm not trying to neglect you, but it's going to take some time away from our relationship a little bit to get it where it's going to go. But once it's there, babe, it's going to give us a better quality of life. I'll be able to scale back a bit. We'll be able to do more traveling. We're going to have more money. We're going to have more freedom. Are you with me on that, right? See, a lot of people don't communicate that way, and that's why they fail. The reason why a lot of entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs fail is because of a lack of communication. And it's also because they're with a partner, they're dating someone or they're married to someone that doesn't have, their best interest in their heads and hearts. For example, if I'm dating a woman and she doesn't understand that this is my passion and my purpose, okay, and she doesn't support me on this, I won't be with her. I won't. And I'm very clear when I get to know women now, what I do and what it entails. Now, do I still find time and make time to date and go out on dates and spend time with someone if I'm with someone while I'm an entrepreneur? Absolutely. You got to do that for one of many reasons. Number one, the main reason is, okay, obviously, you're in a relationship. You got to focus some time on it, right? But number two, taking breaks is also very important so you don't get burned out. For me, when I'm dating someone, I will do my coaching business and run my YouTube and Facebook live streams on the weekdays. And on the weekends, I will spend with whoever I'm with. And I will completely turn off YouTube and Facebook and other things. Now, don't get me wrong. We have smartphones. I may check in every now and then while we're laying in bed, or a few minutes, before, I'm at a dinner with somebody or whatever, right? But then I check quickly. I get back to anybody, that needs something urgent quickly. I make people aware I'm away. I'll be back on Monday. I'll get back to you on Monday. And then I turn off the phone, not turn it off, but I stop, focusing on it. And I focus on the person that I'm with. So one of the main reasons why people are failing at starting their own business is because of the fact that you are not a good communicator. You have a lack of communication with other people that are involved in your life. And also, number two, maybe the people that you're with don't have your best interest in their head and heart. When I'm dating a woman, I have her best interest in my head and heart. But at the same time, I care about myself and I expect her to have my best interest in her head and heart. And together, we can talk about things and support each other and still find and make time for the relationship, even during times when you're starting a new business and you might have to take a little bit of time away from the relationship to make the business work. As long as you communicate that with someone and they communicate with you, for the most part, you're going to be okay. And if you're with somebody that's not okay with that, then you got to question and say, is it even worth it to be with this person? Are they really supportive of me? Do they really care about me, or do they just care about themselves, right? That's also a great way to test and see, how truly the person you're with cares about you, right? Another thing is laziness. People are very lazy. People, get stuck in a rut. And people want instant gratification nowadays, right? And let me tell you something, folks. There's a lot more competition nowadays. Instant gratification does not exist when you're starting a business. Now, sometimes you can start a business and get lucky and hit the right people and get the right followers immediately that will support you monetarily and share you out and get you out there. And you might get lucky and blow up right away. But that's very rare. That happens to less than 1/10 of 1% of the people that try to be an entrepreneur. Okay? You cannot be lazy. You've got to be consistent. Most important thing, you cannot be lazy and you've got to be consistent. Consistency is the key element to success in everything. That includes your dating relationships, your marriages, your business, whether you're self-employed or working for somebody else. If you're working for somebody else and you're not consistent with your job and you don't get the results, what's going to happen? They're going to fire you, right? So why do people, make the effort when they're working for somebody else, but they give up on themselves when they're trying to start their own business. I'll tell you why. Because they haven't learned how to hold themselves accountable. When you're working for somebody else, your company, your boss, is holding you accountable to do your job. If you don't do your job, they're going to discipline you. And if you continue to not do your job, they're eventually going to fire you and replace you with someone that's going to do it. When you're an entrepreneur, you got to hold yourself accountable. And if you're not doing the job for yourself, then you got to fire yourself, right? Then you got to fire yourself and maybe do something else. You got to be consistent. You got to hold yourself accountable. You got to set your goals and then make your goals attainable. And if you don't reach your goals right away, don't give up, because you're going to eventually get there as long as you stay consistent. Again, consistency is the key element to success in anything that you're looking to accomplish, whether it's on a business level or a personal level. And so in 2021, what it's going to take to make your business successful is prioritizing it, making it a priority, and connecting with people that are going to support you, the right people. And that's where I come into play. This is what I've been trying to do for my Facebook network, which is my former in-person networking group. And this is what I've also been trying to do for the people out here on YouTube that are struggling, aspiring YouTubers that want to make this a career because it's their purpose and their passion. Okay? We need to collaborate. We need to get together and stick together. And we need to be consistent, and we cannot be lazy. And when people reach out to you and say, hey, let's do a live stream. Let's do a video together. Stop saying no and say yes more often than no. There have been so many times, and I'm not criticizing my mods here. I love you guys. I'm saying this in general for example purposes. There have been many times where I've offered people so many things. Let's do an interview on my channel. Let's do a live stream panel on your channel, my channel. Let's start getting the word out there. Let's collaborate. You guys come at me and you say, my channel's not growing. I'm not making any money. I'm struggling. I just don't want to do this anymore. I really love it, but I feel like giving up. Well, you've practically given up on yourself, because you have someone like me coming out and saying, I'm willing to offer you the world. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm willing to make sacrifices to do what it's going to take to get us both ahead. But if you're constantly saying, no, I'm not available tonight, and I got some stuff going on the rest of the week, and I got this and I got that, that's a bunch of BS. Don't BS me. As a matter of fact, it's not even about BSing me. It's about BSing yourself. Don't BS yourself. If you want to BS me, that's fine. I can sit there and say, all right, dude, whatever. It's cool, right? It's all good, right? But if you're going to BS yourself, that's going to hinder you from reaching what you want to accomplish, right? That's the truth of the matter, folks. The truth of the matter is you're not holding yourself accountable. And even when people come to you and offer you the world to help you free of charge, you turn it down. You make excuses. You got to start saying yes more often than no if you're an entrepreneur and you want to be successful. You got to take more risks. You got to take more chances. Because if not, you're just not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere. All right. It looks like there's been nobody commenting on the Facebook side of things. That's just very, very interesting. Maybe because it's Christmas Day and people are spending time with their family. Maybe people will watch some of the replay, just like they did with the video, with the live stream I did yesterday. It's got some good views on Facebook. It has almost 100 views on Facebook and closing in on 200 views on YouTube, which is great. People are watching it. People are seeing it. I can sit there and like I mentioned earlier, let these stats get to me. Only 5 here on YouTube right now and 0 on Facebook, right? But that's 5 more than 0. And there's still the replay. And it's just one other piece of content that's going to be archived in YouTube's library and Facebook's library, right? And if people don't see this now live, they might see the replay now. They might see the replay a week from now, a month from now. This is another thing, folks, how important content is to an entrepreneur in being successful. The more content you create, the more you put yourself out there, the more chance you're going to have of somebody coming across you that could change your life with what they can offer to make a difference in your life and help you grow. You can help them grow. It's a two-way street. The more, see, this is why for me, whenever anybody offers me an opportunity to do a podcast, to do a live stream interview, to be on a guest panel, to do a collaboration video, whenever somebody offers me something like that, unless I clearly know that their intentions are to screw me over, I never turn it down. If you're going to be a true entrepreneur, you can never ever turn anything, you should never ever turn anything down that's reasonable and legitimate that could help you get exposure through someone else's network. Why would you want to turn something down that's going to further your reach? This is what I don't get. People don't realize I've got a reach of 4,200 people on Facebook. I've got a couple thousand on Twitter, right? You know, I've got like 2,000 or 3,000 on LinkedIn, a professional network. I've got almost 5K subscribers out here on YouTube. That's a lot of people that you don't know. And when you say, I'm too tired, I'm not free, let's do it in a few days, let's do it in a month or so. In essence, what you're saying is that you don't want to expand your reach to almost 10,000 additional people. That's what you're saying. And then at the same time, you're crying and whining and saying that my channel hasn't grown in a while. I'm not getting any views. I'm not making any money. You know, like, I'm sad. I'm thinking about shutting down my YouTube channel or closing down my business. I've heard so many lame excuses. I continue to hear them, and I know I'm going to keep hearing them. And it's normal typically initially because people are scared to take a chance. People are scared. They don't want to waste their time. There's so many things to do nowadays. Why should they give you the chance, right? I get that. What I'm saying is this. As an entrepreneur, the more chances you take, the more you put yourself out there, okay? The more people you join forces with, you're exposing yourself to a new network. That's what you need to grow. If you're just focused on your own network, you're never going to grow because your own network, you pretty much tapped it out, right? Anyone through your network has made other people aware of you, and anyone in their network that wants to join you has already either done it or not done it, right? So how are you going to expand? You got to expand by connecting with other new networks. And that's where other people come in. That's where I come in. That's where other people like, Firewolf Studios comes in, Lewis Fuller comes in, Furious Reactor Gaming comes in, and every one of you out on my Facebook network. Each one of you has your own personal network of people you know, and we all have that same, not the same network, we all have our own network. So think about if we all got together and joined forces and collaborated, how much further we would all get, how much more exposure we would all get, right? And there's plenty of room for everyone to share resources. That's what I'm trying to say, folks. Now, before I wrap this up here tonight, we are at 1 hour and 18 minutes. Before I wrap this up, I want to say, folks, look, stop being lazy. Stop making excuses. Take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, are you doing as much as you possibly can to move your business forward or to move forward whatever it is you're trying to accomplish in your life? I guarantee you, most of you will look at yourself in the mirror and say, no, I haven't done as much as I can. Then ask yourself, why haven't you done as much as you can? What are you afraid of? Okay? Are you afraid that you're going to meet the wrong people and it's going to cost you a lot of time and money? You got to take some risks if you want to move forward. No risk, no reward. No risk, no reward. Are you afraid of being attacked by people online? Get used to it. That's the way the world is. People attack each other all the time. You got to grow that thick skin and not let anyone else's opinion of you matter besides your own. You got to get into that attitude. As an entrepreneur especially, you got to have thick skin, and you can't let anyone's opinion matter besides your own. Now, be good to people. If people are reasonable with you and they're speaking with you constructively, be open to that. But if people are trolling you, if people are harassing you, if they're attacking you, just smile and walk away. That's it. Don't let them get to you. No one's opinion of yourself matters besides your own. If you can start to realize that, it will change your life. And then you'll be able to focus on moving forward to do the right things and be successful in 2021 and beyond. I'm looking for as many people as possible to reach out to me between now and the end of the year, or even the beginning of the new year, the first week. Because I want to start off 2021 with a bang the first week. After New Year's Day, come the second or the third, I'm looking for people that are ready to come out like a rocket and really get this thing going. I'm looking to interview as many people as possible here live on my channel, or we could do it pre-recorded and put it out on both Facebook and, YouTube. And maybe even other platforms too. There's video on Twitter now. There's video on LinkedIn. Folks, you have no idea how many options we have if we use all of our resources and we become consistent with it and work together. Folks, there's nothing we can't create. So I'm looking for as many people as possible from my Facebook network, my former in-person networking group, to reach out to me between now and maybe the end of the year or the first week of January. Because if you don't do it within the next week or two, you're never going to do it. If you really understand where I'm coming from and you feel me and you understand this, you're going to do it as soon as possible, maybe even tonight. I may not get back to you tonight because I'm going to rest after this, but I'll get back to you tomorrow, next day. If you really want to move forward and grow in 2021 and get your business off the ground, reach out to me. Go below the description on YouTube. Coach Eli at coacheli@melas.com is my email. If you're on Facebook, send me a Facebook message, okay? Or go subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link is below in the video section, at least in the events section. I don't know if it's there where I shared it on my timeline, but you can go to my YouTube channel, which is A Grip on Life, www.youtube.com/C/A Grip on Life. And then either go to the About section on your laptop or desktop, and my email is there. Or if you're on a mobile device, you'd have to go open one of my videos and go to the description section of one of my videos. You'll find my email there. Send me an email to Coach Eli at coacheli@melas.com. Message me on Facebook. Find a way to reach me. If you want to reach me, you'll be able to reach me. And let's start making some things happen. Let's start scheduling some podcasts or some live streams. Let's start spreading the love. The more and more love we spread, the better it'll be for everybody. I don't understand, why people just don't understand that. But I'm going to keep coming back each and every day. And I'm going to keep on fighting the fight because I love what I do. And I love each and every one of you. And I want to help as many of you as possible accomplish whatever it is that your heart desires. All right, folks, we are at 1 hour and 23 minutes. I'm going to start wrapping this up. I'm going to check Facebook one more time. Nothing happening over there on Facebook. So let's start wrapping this up. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Thank you to Lewis Fuller for being here. Thank you to Firewolf Studios, and thank you to Furious Reactor Gaming for being in the YouTube live chat. And thank you to anyone else who was watching behind the scenes, folks. Hope you had a very Merry Christmas And I hope that you have a very, very happy new year. I'm going to continue to put content out daily, if not almost daily, and keep on pushing forward to help each and every one of you accomplish whatever it is that your heart desires. With that being said, have yourselves a great night, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Bye.